computer. Okay, so let me, I guess what is it, September 23rd. Okay, here we go. So Dorothy's got a question. We're not being able to get an update to Heal Advisor. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, screen share. Okay. Let me kind of go through here. So right now, just so everybody knows, I'm connected via the Pink Dot app. So I'm connected via the Pink Dot app. Oh, actually, it looks probably I just disconnected it there. Okay. So I'm connected on the Pink Dot app. And we're going to go to settings where you would go to get updates. So I'll just show you that again. So if you're at the top of your Healy or up here at Gold Cycle, you scroll down past all your programs and I go to settings right here and I click over here and that gets me into settings. And then I'm going to go over here where it says check for updates. So this is what's happening to you, Dorothy, when you get here and you get this spinning wheel.
Yeah.
And then with your spinning wheel, like my program should show that I'm up to date. I don't think I've got anything. So, okay, so I'm up to date. It just stops. Okay. Usually though, it'll tell you you're up to date. So I want to do it again. So what happens to you when you do this?
Okay, right now I'm doing it. It says
Yep.
searching for new updates. And it'll spin and spin and spin, and then it'll tell me my update is timeout.
So you're just like me right now, like this, searching for
Yeah.
new updates, and then it times out.
Yeah, we're still searching. I'm doing the same thing you are now.
Okay.
But it doesn't go that they're up to date. It just goes to timeout.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So then do you have so you see up here at the top of my thing where I'm touching up here at the top, do you have a internet connection on your phone or is it a cellular connection on your phone?
It's not showing nothing up on. Oh, I got to go back. Okay, I'm timed out now, so I'll go back to.
So I'm right here at the thing where it says settings, and then I'm up here at the top. What do you see up here at the top?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, so let's go through. This could be an Apple issue being connected to the internet. So let's just check this out. So what I would do, you've got an iPhone, right? So
Yeah.
iPhone 7. So I'm over here on my basic, on my I happen to be in an iPad, but this is what my iPhone would look like. So I would go to settings.
Back on your iPhone.
Yep. So go to settings on your iPhone.
Okay, just a minute.
This is good for anybody. So if you're having a problem with updates, this is all valuable stuff. So you go like, oh, okay, how do I debug an issue?
Okay, I'm on settings.
Okay, now on Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi is called Pat. Your Wi-Fi will probably be called something else. Are you connected on Wi-Fi?
Yep,
Okay, so you're connected to your home Wi-Fi?
I am.
Okay, that's good. So let's check where else I would check then. Let's see. I would just, so we've got a Wi-Fi connection and I'm going to go down here to Healy. Let's see if Healy has anything in here. So I've got Healy Bluetooth. It's turned on. I've got Healy camera turned on. So that should be good. So I'm imagining since you're able to get the spinning wheel, you've got Bluetooth and camera hooked up. Is that correct?
I think so.
Well, just double check with me, okay?
Okay, okay.
So I just went into, just to remind you, I went into settings
Yeah,
and then I get settings over here and I'm just scrolling down.
okay. Mine showed Bluetooth on like yours did. Yeah.
Okay, good. And it shows camera. It doesn't really matter, camera's good or not. So you've got that connected?
I don't see I don't see camera on mine yet. Oh, yep, I do see camera. Yep, it's on.
Okay, so you're over here, so we see that. Okay, so good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into Healy. And I don't know if I lost my connection, so okay, let me just take my glasses off for a second. Okay, so I'm connected. Okay, so we're gonna try it again. I just want to see. So I'm gonna go to settings, and it's making me connect to Healy again. So I'm gonna go back here. Do you really want to quit the program? Yes. So I was testing a program for a friend of mine. Okay, so I go to settings and I go check updates. So try that again. Let's just see what happens.
Okay. Same old spinning.
And then
Mine's-
mine says your Healy programs are up to date, right? So you see what mine says, so then it just stops. So we know that, well, we don't know. So do you come back to this window when you're done?
No, then I have to cancel when it says update, timeout. Then it just stays there until I cancel. There's a cancel button or start,
Okay.
but I'm still spinning now. Haven't got that far yet.
So you're still spinning, so I should try and do-si-do you right now?
Oh, yeah. Oh. It's still searching for updates, so I don't know.
Well, that's a
What we
good
got
sign
going.
if it's still searching. If it's still searching, I mean,
Oh, there now it says update timeout. And then it says cancel.
okay, so here'd be one other idea that I would try. So on your Healy, I'm gonna stop the sharing for a second so you can see this better. Everybody can see this better. So here's my Healy, right? There's a thing called the hard reset. So I don't know if everybody's done a hard reset before, but what you do is you take your finger and you push it on that start button and watch. I'm gonna hold it in and I'm holding it in. And in a minute, get my finger out of the way. It's still blinking, but in a minute, it's going to go to a solid green light. If I've got it. God bless you, Pat. Otherwise,
Thank you.
you just took up the whole screen there.
Good.
Why is that? Okay, I'm not getting it held in there. So I'm holding it. And then what'll happen on this, Dorothy, is you'll get a solid green light. So I'm holding it. There it is. I get a solid green light. And then it'll turn off. So now what I've just done, for everybody to know this is called a hard reset. Every once in a while, if your Healy is glitching and it's not working right, when in doubt, you know how we do in computers, reboot. So this is rebooting Healy. So now that I've rebooted it, now I can turn it on and it'll come back on and I get the flashing green light. So let me know when you've done that, okay, Dorothy?
Yep, I'm back to, it went to solid and now I'm back to flashing.
Okay, good. So you just successfully did your first hard reset.
Woo!
Okay, so now let's go through and reconnect it to Healy. And that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna open up my pink dot. I'll share my screen again so people can, see what I'm doing. So we can watch this along the way. And I want you to do the same thing.
Okay,
And then you tell me when you're connected and I'll let you know when I'm connected.
okay, I'm connected.
Okay, so you're ahead of me. See, you're faster than I am, see? Okay, so I am opening up my Healy. Okay, so you're ahead of me, so I'm connected. And I'm gonna go through and let's go back down to settings and let's try it again. Let's see if this works for us.
I
Okay,
hope so.
I do too.
Settings, yeah, where did it go?
So for everyone, this is really good. If you have some time, if you get strange behavior on your Healy on the pink dot and it's not working right, and even sometimes on the blue dot, but mostly on the pink dot, I do a hard reset. So it's like what we just did here. We held in the button, held it in for 10 seconds. It's about 10 seconds, might be 11. And then all of a sudden your green light comes on solid green and it'll stay on for like 3 seconds and then it goes off. So now your Healy's turned off. So you've done a hard reset. It's like rebooting your computer. Then you return it back on and then you reconnect. And then usually whatever glitches you've had, it solves. Now, if Dorothy's case here, if it doesn't solve it, now she can go, I'll just instruct her to go back and I'll find out what she did on support, what support said, because we've done everything that I know how to do in the field. I don't know how to do anything else in the field. And then we actually need support's help because she should be able to get an update right now. In fact, everybody should. And when I've had a glitch and I didn't get an update, this is what I did. And then I got an update.
Oh, it just said, it just went back to update timeout again.
Okay. So I would then go through. So what did they say to you on support wise, just so I can potentially help instruct you what to do?
I haven't got an answer back after I told them that it went into the update cancel. They haven't gotten back to me. That was probably Tuesday. So I'm waiting for an answer back from support.
So what I would do is, while you're waiting for an answer tonight, since we just did this, tell them that you were on the phone with me, right? And you said you did a hard reset, right? And you attempted to re-go through, and you verified your internet connection. We verified we got a good internet connection. You're on an iPhone 7, and you did a hard reset with your Healy, had a good connection, and again it said timed out.
Okay,
And that'll give support a lot of information so that they know what to do to better help you. And so what you do is you just click into your existing support ticket and you can update it with some extra information. So that's what I would do.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
John, I have found every once in a while, if I run a program and then I wait for a while and then I try to run another one, I can't get it to load up. But if I restart my phone, it works.
Okay. What model phone do you have, Diane?
It's an Android.
It's an Android? Okay.
I will try that too.
Yep. No, good piece. Because see that yeah. So you can always, that's another part of the reboot process and then reconnect with it. Maybe that's always a good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, I have found for some reason it may be just Android, but restarting my phone seems to cure a lot of ills.
Yeah. Well, just so everybody knows, this is very sophisticated technology that we have in this Healy. I mean, now with most of us here, we all have the Healy Resonance, and we bought that back before July. So that these ones today, they're selling for $5,000. And it's very sophisticated technology. So we've got a very good piece of equipment in here, and they are learning to, and the way that we drive it is with our cell phones. So if you have an old cell phone model communicating with this, sometimes that's an issue. So Healy, part of their challenge is they've got to support how many versions back of an iPhone, how many versions back of an Android. Is it an Android Samsung? Is it an Android, whatever the other version is. So they've got a lot of different software versions and they're rewriting their software to better support all those different variations. I know that. And, when they get that finally done, it should be much better for us that we don't have all these glitches. But I found out I just recently upgraded my iPhone to, I have like a 10XR. I bought it off eBay, paid $300 for it. went up for my iPhone 7. The reason I did that, I dropped my iPhone 7 and it was done. So I thought, well, all right. So I paid $300 and I got a better iPhone. I didn't pay $1,000. I didn't want to, but I got a more modern phone, and what I've found is it drives my Healy much better.
You know, John, I would share that I am a little bit disappointed in Healy in that they don't provide more troubleshooting information to all of us.
Okay. Yep.
And I really think if they put together some kind of booklet or pamphlet or whatever, it would be very helpful.
Let me show you where there is some here on your Healy. Deactivation. Let me come here. So down here at the very bottom, Diane, where it says information, I believe, instructions for use, website. So instructions for use. We get access to a manual right here.
And where is that located?
Okay,
Sorry,
so
I had
let
a
me show
phone
you
call
again.
I had
Let
to
me show
get
you
rid of.
again. Yep. So good question. No, these are good questions. Because like sometimes it's like, oh, how do I know this? So I'm in my Healy on the Pink Dot program, right? So I'll start back out here. So I'm on Pink Dot right down here. Okay, so I open up my Pink Dot. Obviously it's got to reconnect me again. Connect to Healy. Okay, so I then come over here and I scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you see where it says information down here, Diane?
Yes.
So I touch that little arrow, it'll give me some of the specifics on my Healy, but then right over here, instructions for use. And then I have manual. So I've got,
Okay, I had not found that, so I need to.
yep. So over here, look, I just go to the first pages on instructions for use, and they've got a troubleshooting guide on page 13. So I can come over here and scroll over to page, 13, and I can begin to look for, obviously you guys are going to see it this way, but on my phone, I can turn it, for troubleshooting tips over here. So I'm sorry, I can't do my screen the opposite way, but you can turn your device around and then you can read it for troubleshooting tips.
Okay, that's great. You
So
know,
they-
maybe when you purchase the Pink app, whatever, if that information came with it too, if, you could
No,
get a lot of information by scrolling down to the bottom.
Yep. No, and you know what they did here, again, I am kind of making excuses.
It's
for-
like Healy for idiots.
Yeah, right, right. And what they did, just, try and let everybody know this, when they came through here, Time Waver is the parent company of Healy. Time Waver are these big machines that they would sell that hooks up to a computer, and it's about $50,000 for these machines, okay? And it's got all this very sophisticated frequency technology. And the founders of Healy, Marcus Schmidtke and Christian Helper, thought, wow, this is really great, but it was a sleepy little company, and they sold maybe about 2,000 of these units worldwide. Sold about 2,000 of these units worldwide. And basically, you'd have to come and interact with the therapist. So I actually have, a couple of their machines now, and I have clients that come to me and they interact with me. And I've got a very sophisticated set of databases, but it's, they work with me, right? Or you'd work with another Time Waver therapist. There's about 2,500 now worldwide, while they've been doing it for, the last decade. So their vision was, wow, these frequencies are so good. What can we do to help empower people so that they can take care of themselves? Can we shrink it and make it a consumer device and put it in there? So they did, and they created the Healy. They shrunk a lot of the technology from that $50,000 unit, plugged it into here, hooked it up with an iPhone, and began to sell it. They had no clue how successful they were going to be. They had no clue what they had to do to support a consumer market. They were well established how to support a therapist market. They only had 2,000 customers. They had a support staff, and when somebody paid $40,000, $50,000 for their machine, they got service relative to that. Well, when they set up the company to sell these little things, they had no idea. And within the space of 2.5 years, they sold 250,000 units of these. And it completely broke the company. It collapsed them. Support was terrible, has been terrible, hasn't been great. They had a lot of glitchy issues between it. So you're absolutely right. But why I still stand behind it is I had a lot of experience being in Silicon Valley, being in startup companies. And I saw this as game-changing technology. So, okay, game-changing technology, but do they have a good company behind it to start to bring in the customer service issues to take care of all the little people here who are going to use it, who don't, really need this kind of help and support? So I noticed that the company was investing in support and technology. So they've really basically been starting to do that here in the last couple of months. And what I've witnessed is, well, when people order products, they tend to go out faster. When people have some support issues, they tend to go faster. Some of the support issues that we did have aren't as bad. They have hired a guy specifically to create a Healy Academy. So like you were saying, Diane, a Healy for dummies. Now this guy just got hired 90 days ago. So it's going to be kind of hard for him to create content for us out here in the field. But I know they're doing that because these people have a vision. They want to be $1 billion company. And $1 billion company means they're going to be taking care of, over 1 million plus customers or millions of customers. And they're going to need the kind of Amazon infrastructure to take care of people where it just works. So they've got a great product. They just didn't have the infrastructure to support us. So that's why 6 months ago, I just went through and said, you know what, every Thursday night, I'm going to put together a group where anybody who's bought a Healy can come and talk to me because I had no support. And I just put it on my shoulders that I would go learn and figure it out. So anybody who got a Healy could, I could help and support them like we just did with Dorothy here a minute ago and like we're doing here with you, Diane, and anybody else here who asked me a question. And then I also knew that there'd be a range of users here that come on the call. Like we've got Kara here who shows up, who's been working in the energy field for a long time, who I can see on here. And I'm not sure who else has maybe joined our call tonight, but then we've got people that even know how to bring forth, oh, we don't have a technical problem, we don't have a support problem, but we have a, how do I use this device to get healthier problem? And then we can learn from each other. So that's kind of why I just put this as a little space that we could, do this to support our community. And my community is anybody who's, kind of joins in here and wants some help. So, I don't know, I've been talking quite a bit. I hope that helps answer. My vision is Healy is making the course corrections that they need to become $1 billion company. And to become $1 billion company means they don't have to rely on John Miser out here in the field to go help Diane and Dorothy go use their products. They should already be doing that. And maybe I could just be focused on, if I wanted to be a, true network marketer, I could go help, figure out new people and help them, go use the product as opposed to spending time supporting people. But I believe you should support people before you go get new people. I want to have happy people. Does that help?
Hey, John, I got a
Yes,
question.
thank you.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I've been using my Healy and it works very good. I've used it on a couple of my friends and some of my family. But the problem I'm having is I can't, can I run more than one program at a time on my phone?
Okay. So that's a good question. So you've got two different programs, James, to access your Healy. Your Blue Dot and you're Pink Dot, right? Are you with me on that?
Correct, yep. Yep.
Okay, when you're on Pink Dot will transfer the program to your Healy. Are you familiar with that? So like when you're hooking yourself up to the wire bracelets?
So I haven't done that. I've always been using the Blue Dot program.
Okay, all right, so very good question there. On Blue Dot, you can only use that program while it's using Blue Dot. Why is that? The reason it's that way is because on your phone, on your iPad, on your Android, it is actively sending what database do you need, what frequency do you need to drive Healy at that moment. So these two guys are communicating real time and with you. So it's vibrating into the field, it's pulsing James going, where's James at? Send this frequency to James. Okay, James responded this way to the frequency. Take it back, analyze it to the database. Boom, go back out to James. So it's a call and response, and these two guys are talking to each other. If you go to another program on your phone, it breaks the talking connection between these two guys. So what you need to do is if you're using the Blue Dot program a lot and you're doing that kind of broadcasting, the best thing to do on that is to get a dedicated device. And a dedicated device could be an old iPhone, an old iPad. If you have an Android, like I've gotten some Android devices out of Costco for like $100. You know, I got a
Okay.
Samsung. I got a Samsung.
I do have access to I think it's an iPad.
Yeah,
That would work better if I use the iPad, because I notice when I'm using it on my phone, I get a phone call, it disconnects everything.
perfect. That's exactly what's going to happen every time.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I just want to know if that was normal or
Yep.
whatever.
Good question. No, that's a good question. That's what happens. So that's what happens over there. That'll happen all the time. But what let's say now you go through, it's very valuable to go through and run, I'm saying at a minimum 3 times a week, the Pink Dot program where you're hooked up to the microcurrents.
Right, yeah.
Yep. So that's important to get hooked up to the microcurrents and the frequencies at a minimum of 3 times a week.
Because I really do want to send some people programs.
Yep.
So the only way I'm gonna do that successfully is have a different device.
Perfect. Yep. That's it. Yep.
And an iPad will be fine then.
Yes, exactly. Somebody else is going to pipe in and say something? Go
Yeah,
ahead,
Judy.
Judy.
I just want to make it clear to him that I have an iPad, a mini iPad, and it was the wrong version and it did not work. So you have to be careful on how
Okay.
old your iPad is. You don't remember that, John? We went round and round and my iPad will only update to a certain point.
Yeah. I don't know how old your iPad is, but yeah, you've got to have something that's relatively modern.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it here, what it is.
So I don't know what it is. So it's a good point. So
My software version is a 12.5.4, and that will not work.
right. So what happens? So like, let's just go take a peek here. We can go take a peek at, I have my iPad. I'm going to go share my screen because at a certain point in time, this just happens in technology. I mean, this just happens in technology that at a certain point in time, the manufacturer can't support so many back layers. So I got to go here. So here I am in my iPad. I got to go through and I go to about, and I find out. So Judy just said she's on 12.6 operating system, right?
12.5.4 software.
12.5.4.
I have an iPad mini 3.
Right, and it doesn't work. And look what version of software I'm on.
I can't see it, your picture's in the way.
Mine is 14.7.1. After a certain point in time, companies no longer support old versions of software. Apple, in that case, on your particular device, no longer supports a more modern operating system. Healy can only support so many versions of an operating system. At a certain point in time, they force us to upgrade. I get it, it's not fun or whatever it is, but that's what happens. But in that case there, you'll find out that's why you're going to have bad behavior or no behavior on them. Does that make sense for anybody else? And the same thing on Android. It happens the same thing on Android. So I'll stop sharing for a second. See what else. Oh, you know what? I know there. Andrew's here. He wanted to. I'm going to show you something, Andrew. So in case Andrew's in the process of acquiring a program from me for his Healy, a custom program. So he's never downloaded it to his Healy. So this is what you do. So I have to open up the Pink Dot. And let me get over here. Get out of here. What's going on here? My screen is freezing up. Okay, so my screen is free. There it is. There we go. So why is it doing that? So this is always good when you see a glitch here, then I've got to go solve a glitch. So what I do when I get a glitch like this, I can't get my program to go back. It's still stuck in this window where I was showing Diane how to go through. Oh, there it is. But you see I'm getting glitchy behavior. So what I do when I get this, I just get out of it, I kill it. I killed the program and now I'm gonna reopen it. So I turn my Healy on. And I can tell you what this is. Healy is rewriting these Pink Dot and Blue Dot applications so we don't get these little glitches. They haven't finished rewriting it. It's a big effort. They didn't expect their product to be this successful, but they're rewriting these programs. And when they do, the program should be much more, anti-fragile, much more resilient. So down here, you see where it says expert programs and expert TANs. Now, some of yours may still say therapist programs and therapist TAN, but Healy's just renamed it. So on this,
John, what does TAN stand for?
okay, TAN stands for the therapist activation node. I really don't know what it fully stands for, Diane, but right here. So in this case here, when I go through and I touch it, this goes through and it says this particular code right here. So Andrew, if you're paying attention on this, you'll go through and you'll take a copy of this. People just take a screenshot of this and then send it to me so I know what your number is. This is my number right now that's unique to me. But what I do with this number, so for everybody else, you now have access to your Heal Advisor Cloud is now temporarily unlocked. What that does for me, in this case, when you create an expert program for somebody, I then have the ability to create a custom program. There's other time waiver therapists out there who also do it. But I can create a custom therapist program. So in this field here, these are where I have my expert programs. So in this case here, they used to have these nice names over here where you see this, where you could create a program called Wealth and Abundance, Positive Thoughts, Moving Forward, Manifesting Miracles, right? Now down here at the bottom, Healy just leaves it like that. They just give us these naming conventions. But when I create, God bless somebody, but when Healy does this, I can go through and create a custom program. So in this case, what I do then is, like in this case here, if Andrew decides to move forward with this, he will send me his TAN. I will send him a couple custom programs for the particular issues he's working on that are independent of Healy programs. And then he can have a custom program on this page that was designed for him. So in my Healy days, but this is how you do it. So, so what this does is you go, oh, enable. And this little unique number, then I can plug it into my system here. I have a custom program. I upload it to the cloud. And then when, you know, like if in this case here, like where Dorothy, we were trying to, you know, update her Healy. It'll successfully, when it does do it, it'll update. And then that program will show up on your Healy. And then you have that program for life. And you can run that just like you would any of your other programs.
So it shows up in the expert program.
Go ahead. Somebody has a question there? Andrew,
It shows up in the expert program.
for some reason, your audio is coming across really poor right now.
Okay. I'll fix that.
I don't know what it's like. It sounds like a duck in a tunnel, and I can't make out anything you're saying.
Fix it.
Maybe he should type it to you.
Yeah, go ahead. You can type it in there or send me a text or whatever. You can type it into the chat, Andrew. I'm gonna stop the share. Does anybody have a question on that? Okay. How about anybody else? Any other questions?
I might have been distracted. Did you say on the pink dot, we can walk away from our cell phone after it's loaded?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when you download it to your pink dot there, Judy, and you have it in there, you can walk away and your Healy will continue to run for the length of the program.
Okay,
Okay, and it'll automatically turn off. So
even with the coil.
even with the coil, yep,
Okay,
even with the coil, yep, coil or
Great.
wristbands, it'll show up. And yes, Andrew, I see your question. It will show up in your expert program there when it comes through on an update. So that's where you'll see it. You go like, oh, okay. So in this case here, if you decide to get those programs, they will show up in that slot for you.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
this is Laura.
Hi, Laura.
And I've been playing around with the Heal Advisor search, and I've been trying to figure out how to make that program work. So I would search for sleep, for example, and it would come up with Relax and Bean and all these different ones that you can select. So once you select them all, how do you run it to use the program?
Okay, that's a good question. We can show you how to do that. In case anybody else here knows how to do it, if they wanted to kind of do it, I'd let them, they can hear a different voice, but I can show you how to do that.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Gonna get that over here. Gonna share my screen again. Okay, so I'm gonna open up Heal Advisor, right? So
Okay.
that's over here. This.
Yeah.
So in case anybody else isn't with us on there, Heal Advisor. So this is, we open that up. So here's what you kind of do. So you're over here at this part here and you go, okay, let me go through and I'm going to ask it a question. And then you'll get past the lawyer notice. And so you said you typed in something like sleep.
Like sleep, yeah, to help with sleep.
So in here then, this shows you the programs that are recommended for helping your sleep, right? So in this
Right.
case here, they showed you just those 4 programs, right?
Mhm. Well, I have a lot more on mine because that's the box for all IMF programs and then the box for Healy IMF programs. Both those boxes are check marked.
Oh, okay. So you must have, so all view all IMF. Okay, there it is. I didn't have mine checked. Okay, so there it is.
Okay,
LEEP. Well, no, there it is. So I have mine checked, but once I make a selection on that, it's
yeah,
gonna have to So I've got view. This is when I click that one, Laura. So
Mhm.
when I click view all IMF programs, this shows me all the programs that are in my Healy that are available to be used
Mhm.
to deploy in a Healy Search Advisor search.
So is there a way to activate all of those as one program? So you're getting all of
No.
them at once?
No, 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 no. What it's going to do, so let's take a look here. Let's go through and we'll type in stomach.
Okay.
Okay, so I type in stomach. Now what it did is it took all those programs and it did a subset of them and said, okay, well, we've got stomach, we've got release, first application, digest all, balance, pure, relax, extreme stress, immunity, bacteria, gastrointestinal, nerve meridian, and mental balance, acute.
Yeah.
So these are all the programs that would be related to stomach issues, right? So let's say you go through and you go, you know what? I think my stomach issues are really based on the fact that I've really been having a lot of stress and issues. So I'll work on that. Or is it gastrointestinal? When you select the little plus sign over here,
Okay.
this thing adds it to your calendar.
Oh,
See where it says there? Program was added to program pool.
and where did you do that at?
Okay, let me go back. For some reason, I touched
Sure.
somewhere. I didn't mean to. Got to come back here.
There's that. Okay.
I got to come back here again. So I touched, in the wrong area. So I go over here and I touch right over here.
Yeah.
So I touch here on stomach and then watch. I touch that. It goes from a plus to a minus.
Yeah.
And then down here it says program was added to the program pool.
Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I could go, well, I think I also want release
Mm-hmm.
added to the program pool.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say I go, okay, first application. Okay, I've
Mhm.
added enough programs to the program pool.
Okay.
Now I go down to here to programs.
Okay. Programs. Okay.
I touch that. Now, obviously, I don't think I cleared this because I had other programs in my program pool.
Okay.
All right. So unfortunately, it's going to look a little goofy right now.
Uh-huh.
Probably should just clear it all out. But then I go up to here where I have the IMF schedule.
Okay.
You see, I got program pool.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you I can edit right here. Okay, so here, I just touched over here. You see this little mark right here?
Yeah.
I can edit. So I
Oh.
go, I want to get some of these programs out. So now I see a trash can, right? So I
Oh,
go,
okay.
I didn't want that one. I didn't want
Okay.
that one. I just touched the trash can and it's getting it out of there. So I'm going to go back to,
Okay. Okay.
I'll keep gastrointestinal, stomach, and release. And then I'm going to get rid of first application, activation, psyche, energy, brain, boom, joy of life, antioxidants. So now 3 programs were added to the program pool.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we go to the IMF scheduler.
IMF scheduler. Okay.
So I touch that and
Mhm.
then
Wait,
and then what this does, this shows me what programs it's going to run on what days.
Wow.
Okay. So then I come down here and I go today's programs. And then I can go touch that. And what it'll do when I touch it, actually, I have to have my Healy turned on. It'll then automatically kick the program over to my Healy.
Mm.
And it's a way for me if I decide to not do the Healy analyzer and I decide to do this, it'll automatically kick that program on and queue it up and get ready to run it.
Wow. Ooh. Hmm.
Okay, so obviously I'm having a glitch here with it because I had too much going on.
Hmm.
So I'll go back to that.
Add to program pool.
Okay, so something's goofing here. And of course, it's, let's go through and have some glitch issues, right? But that's how it works. So what I did is, I did that once for a month and I went, oh, this is kind of cool. And I set up a series of programs and it was automatically queued up for me that I could run those programs and go, okay, today's program, I don't have to think about it. I already did my search on my particular issue and it just ran the programs for me.
Hmm.
And this
Interesting.
It's interesting. I'm getting a glitch on this, so I don't understand the time account has expired program. Yeah, I don't understand. I've never seen that before. So I don't know.
It is nice when you decide to make a plan for what you're going to run. It just really helps to schedule that so you don't have to remember what your plan was. It kind of has it programmed in there. So
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's how I've used it before. And then, you can describe your little mood and, put that in there if you want to do it as you're, kind of running your thing on how you feel.
John, do you think it would be worth showing them when they first get this program or got the Heal Advisor? There was a place where you could select all the programs you own. And I think that's so important so that it's not pulling in information that you don't own. I think it was under
Yeah.
Healy configuration. Just want to make sure everybody has done that. Oops, that's not it.
That's the one. Let's see. We'll go over here. It's
Healy
Healy
Edition. Healy Edition. So everyone should make sure they go in and check the ones that they own. If you owned it before, or if you bought it before July 7th or 8th or whatever, you're pretty much going to have everything, I think, John, except for Deep Cycle H, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so. So,
And maybe even the animal program we got the blue edition for, we just didn't get the
yeah, but it's
pink,
not
if I
pink. This is for
understand
pink.
right.
Yeah, this is for pink only.
Okay, so then so the animal one probably would not also. And then otherwise, I think they could check them all, or at least that's what I thought. When out looking at it,
Right.
and
No,
And
that's
if you
good,
bought
Ken.
it before then, you guys, you have an amazing bunch of extra programs. So the things that don't say all Healy in front of it are completely extra amazing programs that you have at your fingertips. So anyway, hope I didn't confuse things there by saying that, but just making sure you are just searching on the programs that you own.
Yeah, so when I go through here, this like puts all the programs that I have. So what Tammy was just sharing, now when I go through and I do the search on this allows me to do that.
Still don't get it.
Okay. But I mean, this is kind of nice. So like when we were talking before, like SARS, you're like, oh, SARS-CoV-2. Oh, isn't that kind of cool? What programs might I run if all of a sudden I've got this illness? Do I have, a pretty good support tool right here? Oh, you bet you do. Right? So these would be the programs that you could go through and run to support yourself if you were to catch this infection. Right? You got a whole battery of programs to run. So it's
Get over there, you fuckhead.
Pardon?
God damn it. Son of a bitch. Goddamn pinheads in this fucking world.
Somebody's having a good time out there.
Yeah, they need to be muted.
Yeah, I figure out who it is.
How do you add? Don't get it.
And I like scheduling some of these because it is important to be consistent and run programs through consistently and have a plan and maybe run them more than once. So I love that you can kind of schedule these. And then you can, especially in the pink, and then you can run some additional ones in the blue. Great tool.
Hmm.
How about anybody have any success stories, any interesting things that they've run on Healy since they want to share? Because we always learn from somebody else here in the group with somebody that's been running something.
Hey, John, I could say a little bit of a testimonial.
Okay.
I was away for the weekend and I was emptying a cooler and the lid just came down crashing on my finger, just literally crushed it. And it's probably the worst pain that I've had in a long time. And I'm an essential oil girl, so of course my first minute went to that, but I started running the Pain Local, and I put pads on my end of my finger here and then down here. And I ran the pads and I did the pink program on the Pain Local. And I did it very similar to that lady's burn protocol and ran it. It's, I think, a 20 or 30-minute program. I ran it once, and the minute it stopped, I ran it again. And I truly expected to lose my fingernail. I expected at least that it would turn black and possibly die. It was really, really painful. And I was shocked how much that helped the immediate pain, but my fingernail is not turning black. It is not, and by the next day, it was considerably better. I can't say 100%, but by a day or two after that, I didn't even know that it happened. And so just like anything, if you can run the Healy as soon as possible after an injury, those pads and that pink program, the Pain Local, we've heard many stories, but I can truly, truly say that made all the difference in my finger. And so the pads, the pink, the Pain Local, awesome thing to use.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Tammy.
Yeah.
I can echo that. I had the same kind of experience on my big toe. Same thing.
Yeah.
Nail didn't have anything, dropped the pain level. So nice to hear that it works on your finger too.
It's a great tool, great tool. And like anything in an acute situation, you want to get on it as soon as you can. And we have an amazing tool to do that. And so whether it's pink or blue, but pink when you can in that situation that has that specific program for Pain Local. And it was showed to be very, very effective.
Wow. Very good.
I have kind of a vague question.
Okay.
I ran an analysis on my son using the blue Healy, and one of the programs that came back indicated that you needed the pads, the electrodes, but he's in a whole nother state. And so I've been running the every other day, alternating these different programs on him. And I use the coil. Will that program still work without hooking him up to the device?
From the basic thing, and I'll let somebody else jump in here too, because maybe there's a way to, be a surrogate. and do it. But from the first way, if you're not being a surrogate and taking the thing, like if your son's in a different location and you're running the coil is basically designed to work within your field, in your physical field where you are. It's a magnetic coil. So it's affecting your magnetic field around you. So it's vibrating right there to you. So if your son is, you know, in the next state or next city or next county or, you know, over in Europe, that's not the optimal way to do it. Although there are people that go through and surrogate it, so we could talk about that. But the traditional Healy way, and when I say traditional, nothing's really traditional. You start working with frequencies, but would be the blue dot, and that's where you're vibrating the frequencies to him wherever he is. And in that case, when you're using blue dot, you don't care about pads or wrists or coils. It doesn't matter because you're hitting them at the information field. And so a good analogy for the information field that I learned here over the weekend that I'll share with you is if you were to be on a lake shore and it was clear, still water and you could see the sandy beach beneath, and if the wind had been blowing across the water where it creates little ripples of waves, usually when you look down into the sand beneath there, you'll see kind of a pattern of waves in the sand. Okay, so if we think of the wind as the information field and we're sending frequencies into the information field to change it, right? The water is in us. We're 99% water, so it's really valuable to drink water. And then the physical part of our nature is like the sand. So when your son or family member or friend is over in Europe, whatever, you're hitting the information field, which then is going into their, going from that wind, if you will, touching the water in their body, beginning to affect their physical nature. The pink dot on the other way, we actually connect right up to the physical nature. We're running, you know, microcurrents through them and putting the frequencies directly into the physical thing. So it's like sticking probes into the sand and the water and doing it that way, and we're ignoring the wind. So if that analogy helps you start to think about, I mean, I'm trying to break down quantum physics into something that somebody simple like me can think about, because I'm dumb as a doorbell like this, and it's like, oh, I don't know quantum physics, but I'm trying to figure analogies how to break down what those guys and gals who are really great doing on this quantum medicine that we're working with, so that you can figure out like, oh, how do I go take care of my son? Because at the end of the day, it's like, how do I take care of my tribe? So I hope that helps. Does that help?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a little more confused. So I'm better off using the blue dot, but
Yes.
even though I got specific things, because the blue dot gives you what, a list of 5 things to run.
Correct. So when they're there, yeah, I get it. You may want to run just, let's just say if you were in gold, you want to run just pure for him. Now that might be a question that Kara could help us out with, because she kind of works as a way as, you know, maybe Kara, you can try and help us out, like as a surrogate where you run that program on you and you transmit that energy to the individual over there. Or Tammy, I see you raising your hand. Maybe Tammy wants to jump in.
Well, when we do the coherence program, you know, we can do that for a group of people, and I played with that, and I have an experiment next Wednesday with the coherence program between now and then see how it works. So it'll be fun to be able to share that next week with you. But when we do the coherence program for a group, let's say you're going into a group where you're wanting that coherence, or you have a family, you are doing that in the pink app. So you are running that through you in order to get that coherence. So I really believe that we need, you know, it's so easy to run this like a machine and really not be thinking about what we're doing. We're just going through the programs, but I feel like, especially when you're doing it, surrogating for someone else, or you're doing the coherence program for a group or something, I really, really believe that it is intent. And the thing that we have to remember is we have to be very intentional and clear on our intent, even when it's for us and we're running the peer program or the gold program, whatever it is. Try not to run it just manually without thought. Be very clear. Okay, I'm running the gold program on myself right now. I want all of these frequencies to run for my very best and highest good. And I believe that when you have that intent and you run the Healy, even with the coherence program or for your son, as long as you are very clear, very, very clear that this is for him and I am using me as a surrogate, try it and see. I believe that it can work. And I believe that with the coherence program, we've been doing that. But I think it is, again, try not to do it so mechanically and be very clear on your intent when you hit that button and you're going to run it. I don't know, some of you may not agree and some it may work for and some not, but I just really believe that if you are clear on your intent, it will work for someone else. Just like when we surrogate and hold that Healy in our hand and we're recording a vibration for someone else. If we believe that works, why do we not believe that surrogating a program couldn't work, right? On
Right.
the pink program. That's just my heart, but again, you have to believe and you have to do what makes sense or what you believe, but that's what I believe.
Well, I'm an
Okay.
energy worker. I'm an energy worker and I understand what you're saying, but I wanted to, so I need to be wearing the Healy if I'm going to be doing that. I need to be touching it somehow.
Well, wearing the straps or wearing the coil, because that's the only way the pink works.
Okay.
I mean, and traditionally. So, Kara, do you have a thought on that? I mean, I could be way off. So this is just really an opinion for me or a thought of my experience, but with the coherence program specifically. But do you have a thought?
I guess I'm wondering why you don't want to use the Blue Dot program with someone who's not right next to you. Like, why are
Well-
you wanting to do the pink dot over the Blue Dot?
Because in one of the meetings, it said, choose two items to run on this person every other day. And the Healy gives you five items to run. And I wasn't sure if I was confusing the issue by running all of these.
I think,
told-
no, I think you're going to get more effectiveness for your son by running the Blue Dot program on him and being really intentional with what you want to accomplish. All that being said, his energy field and consciousness knows what he needs way more than we do. So I think that if you run the Blue Dot and you use your finger, and while you're holding your finger on that device and you're holding the intention that please identify the top 5 programs for him using his name that are in his highest good right now, and then run those, and then use your own instincts and intuition for how long he needs that. And then I always ask, how many times a day does he need this program? Because a lot of times I get up in the morning, I scan all my people, and I run the programs for 5 to 12 minutes on all those people that I have to run programs on. And then I go back and I say, okay, how many times a day do they need these programs? Or do I need to go deeper? Or, do I need to do something different? And then I manage that throughout my day. So I think that would be my approach with it, is to run that blue dot with the intention, not with your intention of what you want for him, but for his highest good, because I think that's critically important. One, so he doesn't have healing crisis symptoms as much. And two, so that we're not manipulating what he might be able to receive. That's outside of our scope of vision or vibration. The other issue that comes up for me is that as a practitioner who's been scanning and running programs on people every day for a couple of months now, I'm getting exposed to their energy field and to their intentions and their illnesses and imbalances and all that stuff. And I know that undoubtedly for a fact. And so if you are going to run programs on your son, it's really important when you finish running those programs, or I'm sorry, before you start running those programs, that you go and you run your protection program on you. And then you run a program, I just do all Healy programs on myself at the end of that day to make sure that I'm clearing. And then whatever the program is that has coherence in it, they changed the name, I think. After you run that all Healy programs, because that will reground and recenter you and get your electrical system clear, and you won't carry that energy.
Oh, that's good advice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kara.
Sure.
Yep, thanks, Kara. Well, I see we're a little bit past the hour. I like to try and keep this an hour for everybody. So unless there's a burning question, I will, kind of call it a night, unless anybody else has a burning question that you want.
Say, John,
Yep.
the Smiths had put a question, his mic was, or his sound was not clear, and he put a question in the message. I'm not sure I am clear on the question, but we should probably address that before we close out tonight.
Andy, did we answer your question?
Let me try. Does this work?
Oh, yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you great.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I did do something different. Okay. Yeah, I just I've been having trouble with the Blue Dot program, and that my clients. Well, there was something came up about a master key like about 3 weeks ago, and then there was my clients disappeared, and then it doesn't even go to the vibrate anymore, and I don't know why it would have done that. And then ever since I've started, has the thing where it says, it says hold in your right hand to record. It doesn't do the vibrate thing. So, I mean, that wasn't a problem, but I was able to use the aura resonance and the resonance, thing, those two particular programs, and then do the vibrate on them. And now the vibrate doesn't even come up as an option to hit. And I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, let's take a peek. We'll debug it here. Let's see if we can figure that out. So
A couple of things come to my mind, John, is you must have downloaded the app onto another device. Is that correct? And would that be true?
I did not. No, I just have it on my phone. So
Okay.
it's
So
an
it was-
Android.
Okay, so it was working on your phone and then it quit working on your phone?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was an update or something came along and it said, here's your master key, save it. And I opened it up in an email and it was like totally in Chinese. I'm seriously not, it was really Chinese. So, yeah. So when I push the aura analysis, it'll go through the whole thing. And then it'll get to the point where you're ready to vibrate and all that, and it doesn't come up as a clickable option anymore. And I don't know why.
So it sounds like you lost your key. Is that,
Okay.
John, would that be fair to say? Because that master key, but if that's the first and only device you downloaded it on,
Yeah,
John, do you know how to show that on your screen? Let's see, I've done this a couple times with people because you also have to do this if you want to add it to another device. For example, I had it on I think I first did it on my my Droid tablet. And then I wanted it on my phone or vice versa. I don't know which it was, but I had it on one, wanted to load it on the other. And your first device is the one that holds the master key. And then the first device then has to give permission to your other device to have the master key. And so I don't know why it would be on your initial device, but yep. And it's, yeah, so right there, I believe it's under Connect Cloud Device. Does that sound right, John?
No, so it's right, it's the one just below it, backup
Just-
master key, so.
Yeah, but that backs it
okay.
up, but that doesn't, if you go to Connect Cloud Device, if you have another device that you're trying to load it on, it'll actually list that device and allow you to say yes, accept or, allow that device. See that? So those are pending keys. So if it looks like John, maybe with check mark that maybe you did it, but when it's pending, then you would click that to approve it and you could have it on multiple devices. So I have it on my phone and my iPad, and then I had a couple others, and I was able to then just accept those, and it would work on all of those different devices.
So the
Cloud
concept of
settings.
a master key, Andrew, is like it's a key to your house.
Right.
So when you initially go through, most people don't pay too much attention to this when they first get their Healy, but it'll go through and it'll create a master key, and you'll do something like this, save a master key. And so what it's done now, they give you an opportunity to like save your master key. So you've got to pick an option
Right.
what to go do with it. So I've recommended people to either they have an iCloud account or they've got a Dropbox or, they've got some place to keep or store something. So I go, choose your Dropbox, and then save it there, right? Or
Oh,
if you think,
okay.
oh, I don't have it, I've got it on email. It'll bring up email, and then there it is, the master key. Now this
Right.
thing here is gobbledygook. It's like 2 pages of, numbers and Chinese characters and
Oh, okay. No problem. All right. So that's really the
and then
good
you
thing.
just
Okay.
save this, and then if all of a sudden you're going to go on a second device, if you get this exact key and you put this key on that device when you load it up for the first time, then you have 2 devices that both have the same key. So when you have data from one device, it'll populate to the other device.
Oh, okay. That'll probably fix everything then.
That
Okay.
fixes everything. Yeah.
All right. Very
And then
good.
once you have it, so if you lose it, like people go through like, I don't know what I did with my master key when I first did it. Okay, well, now you're setting up a new device. The worst thing that's going to happen is you lose all your scans and you got to add everybody back in. That's
Right.
the deal.
All right. That answers my question.
Okay, good. Thanks for bringing that up, Tammy. Thanks for following his question there.
Thank you.
And so I don't know about the not vibrating for you, Andrew. I mean, it should come like this. Add a new client. I come over here, tap that. And then when I go through here, I can take a picture. I can choose it from the gallery, right? I can do that or I can cancel. But then over here, I've got the plus sign for recording a vibration. I should be able to touch that, record a vibration. It should bring up this screen here. And then,
Oh, okay.
and then I touch here, and then that allows me to record a vibration. So right
The
now it's
trick is
obviously,
to make sure you click on that check mark in the top corner. If you don't, it won't save it. So all that you just entered will disappear and it
Oh.
won't save it. So that check mark in the top right-hand corner is your save. And
Oh, I
I've had
got you.
different instances where I've had trouble. So if once I enter their data, I hit check mark and then I go back in to their card and add their picture and their vibration just to make sure that I don't lose it. So that check mark is really crucial
Okay,
to save what you've done. And so when you usually lose people or you enter and it does not stick, it's usually because we didn't hit that check mark.
okay. All right, great. Great.
okay,
Yeah, thank
well, I
you.
think we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
You know, I probably should do the contraindications. I have a video here. This isn't medical advice or, you know, it hasn't been approved by the FDA. So everything we're saying here is hocus pocus. But you and I all know that we've gotten some good results. But, you know, this just to keep the FDA happy since I'm recording this. I should have the Healy contraindication thing here. So I don't know where it is, but I think I'll start bringing that on. So I'm more compliant. Or
There you go.
compliant. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week then. Thanks for all the support. Thanks, Kara. Thanks, Tammy. Thanks for the questions, Laura and Judy and Andrew and Dorothy. See everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
You bet.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.